Hello, hello, Clarity Group and health coaches. It's Carmen here. So we got so many new people added to the Clarity Group. I feel like I need to do a little bit of an introduction about who I am before I get started on talking about the brain pickers today. So I am Carmen Hunter. I am the founder of the Institute for Functional Health Coaching and the Health Coach Mentorship and Mastery Group. I have been a health coach for almost 8 years, be 8 years this coming March, May, somewhere around springtime. I can't remember. But I am an actual health coach. I am not someone who has not built that business from the ground up. I have done it all. I've been through the hard stuff. I've spent all the wrong money, and I've done all the wrong things to build my business. And so the reason I'm bringing this to you today is because I don't think we should have to go through everything that I went through to be successful, to have a business that we love. I also don't think that we need to be listening to people who have not done this, who don't understand what it means to actually build a business, be an entrepreneur when all you really want to do is help people, right? I mean, we get into this business as health coaches to help people. And once we finish our certification, wherever you went to get that or where you got your education, I would say probably 90% of the people that are in my school now or are part of my audience or my groups have no idea what it means to be an entrepreneur, had no idea that in order to be a successful health coach, you have to be a business person first. And so part of the importance of providing this kind of free training and value to you guys is to help you understand what it means to be able to do that in a way that feels authentic and good to you. Because when we get into this business as a health coach, we are passionate about helping others, but it can be really hard to say no to people when they want our help. It can be really difficult to find that fine line between what if I'm turning away someone that could be a potential client for me? Oh my gosh, all I want to do is help that person. So you give all your information. So we're going to cover a few of those bigger topics today that I have been through myself and that I am watching people go through every day still, and for the last 5 years that I've been mentoring and helping health coaches. So what I would like for you to do as part of this live training is to, in the comments, I would like you to tell me, and let's be honest here because nobody's perfect in this business. There's no reason to pretend that you've got it all together. I don't have it all together as a health coach. I'm still learning every day. The coaches out there that are telling you that they do have it all together probably have something falling apart somewhere else. So today we're going to be real. We're going to talk about real stuff, which is my favorite thing to do. And besides being interacting with you guys and teaching you the things that I learned the hard way. But I want you to put in the comments today about whether or not, and tell the truth, you are treating your business as a hobby. Okay, so what that means is you are giving away way too much. You may not be valuing yourself as a health coach. If any of these things kind of apply to how you feel about your business, talk about it in the chat. Get some support from your peers and from each other. Because, you know, the people that are listening in on this today are probably doing the same thing that you're doing in some form or fashion, okay? So once I get into this, you guys can start talking to each other, but start sharing information about whether or not you are treating your business as seriously as you should be to make it a business and not just a hobby, right? What message are you putting out to the world about what you do with your business? So that's really kind of the first step into diving into the brain picking part of what I'm going to train about today. So, and I usually don't say anything, you guys, because I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see very well. So my apologies for not greeting anyone that hopped on earlier. Hi, you guys, Sherry and Beth and Cassie. Hi, Andre. Oh, thank you for the compliment. Yeah, Beauty Counter does miracles for skin. I'm telling you, I am not lying. That stuff has changed the way my skin looks and feels. It's unbelievable. I don't feel so much of 46 anymore. I'm feeling a little bit more like I'm early 40s as opposed to before everything else age took a hold of me. So awesome. So you guys are chatting. Keep it up. Talk to each other. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, let me pull my window up here. I don't want to get off track. And I'm a person who, and there's my imperfection, one of them, you guys, one of the many, as I get off track because I have so much information I want to share with coaches, and there's so many things I want to tell you so that you, whether you're new, you don't know what you're doing with this business, you haven't even begun yet, but you're nervous or uncertain, or you've been in this business for a long time, I want you to know that we all have things that we struggle with, and this is one of the biggest topics right here. So let's talk about the informal definition of a brain picker. Is the act of obtaining information or ideas by questioning another person. And there's nothing wrong with this, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with sharing information and talking to each other and gathering, things that can be helpful. There's also nothing wrong with it when people do it to us, okay? So when someone comes to me, and this has been going on for a very long time. Some of my clients are actually past clients or family members that used to ask me at events that we would go to, that would text me or email me, or they were a personal training client at one point. And it always goes from whatever the topic is to start with into something deeper. So someone might come to me and say, hey, what do you think about drinking 8 glasses of water a day? Do you think that's true? And I might say something like, I'm really a big believer in drinking when you're thirsty. Oh, okay. Well, while we're talking about it, I want to ask you another thing, if that's okay. Of course it's okay, because we're sitting here with each other right now, and I can't get away from you, right? Because that has happened to me multiple times. Okay, so where do people like this find us? Where do the people that are asking for all this free information and this free help find us? Well, they find us in they find us by our phone because they know us, texting, calling us. They find us by Facebook private messaging, Twitter, any social media avenue that allows to get a personal message or to tag you and ask you a question. They find us in our free groups. They may find us at the grocery store. That was kind of my MO. It seemed like every time I went to the grocery store, whether I opened up the door to help someone or not, someone was looking in my cart or watching me read labels or hearing a conversation I was having. I've had people come up to me literally while I'm talking to someone. I'd see people leaning in, listening, and another one would come over at the grocery store, not knowing anyone. And the next thing I know, I'm like almost teaching a mini class at the grocery store. Now, again, for those of you who don't know me, I started coaching almost 8 years ago when I didn't have any skills to turn these people or these talks into something that would actually make me money, right? So it was me standing there thinking, well, I've got some business cards in my purse. I could just hand these out, but they're asking all these questions and now I'm stuck and trapped. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys how to get out of those situations too. But they can find you anywhere. They can be your neighbor that may see you out running every day and knows that you're a healthy person or whatever. Doesn't matter. They're going to hunt you down. They're going to find you, and there is no shame. So when people, they come at you to ask you questions, there's a couple of things that we have to keep in mind when this is happening. One of them is that, they have something happening that they are worried about or they're concerned about, or it is truly something that's weighing on them, or they wouldn't ask you more than likely, right? Someone who is asking you about gluten or grains, or someone who is asking you about water, or someone who's asking you about caffeine. Do you drink caffeine? Like those kinds of questions. Maybe they've just recently been to a doctor and been diagnosed with something. Maybe they know that something could be different about the way they're living their life, but they're not sure how to get started. Maybe they just have this underlying feeling of dis-ease that, they're getting older. They should be paying more attention to something. Maybe they put on a significant amount of weight, and all of the things they've learned about exercise and how many days a week you should be exercising isn't working for them, even though they've tried it. Maybe they've done a multi-level marketing food plan and they've done powders and supplements and bars and they're still stuck, or they lost weight, decided it was not sustainable and started eating it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's happening with that person. All of these people are out there. And when they come to you, I can tell you what it feels like, because I've been on the other side when I have been desperate for information or looking for a solution or needing someone different to step into my life and objectively look at what I'm doing with my health. When I was first diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I've been that person that's reached out to someone and asked a question or two. And when they wrote me back, whether it was, if it was more than a couple of sentences, it was almost like an invitation in my mind to continue the dialogue. Now I know better because it's what I do for a living, and I have a totally different mindset about money and exchanging currency and my time and all of those important pieces. But back then, I was just relieved to have someone that I could ask more questions of. But, on the other hand of that too is I actually sent some PayPal money, or I did an Amazon gift card or something like that, because I believe in the power of gratitude. The people that are looking for you more than likely are probably not that intuitive about the fact that what you do is a business. So that's the first thing you have to make sure that you are very clear about, whether you are on social media, on your Facebook groups, on your, with your family or whatever, is that what you do is a business. A health coach is a career. That is a profession. You have a profession. So if someone says to you, oh, so you just like to cook paleo and you like to exercise, that's great. So let me ask you some questions. No, that's actually, yeah, those things are true. But the truth about me is that it's what I do for a living. I actually have a business that I run, And, you know, I'll be happy to send you in the right direction, which we're going to talk about in just a second. So there's no end to where they are, okay? You just got to kind of be prepared. It's almost like, you know, when you're at an event and you sit down next to, you know, Aunt Sue, and you know Aunt Sue's got diabetes and Aunt Sue likes to make her cookies every weekend or whatever it may be. You know, you might be that person that's super excited to sit and talk to Aunt Sue because you know that you can help her with their health, and you just can't seem to keep it in, and all of a sudden you're in a conversation with her and you're starting to talk to her about how grains are inflammatory, how insulin resistance can occur because of whatever it may be. Maybe you're the person that started the conversation in the first place. So I want to caution about that before we even go into the other part of that, and that is, before you start talking to someone that you just know you can help, right? I want you to think about what kind of an investment of your time and effort you're going to be putting into that person, and is it going to be something that you can be at peace with? Okay, because here's what's going to happen. Aunt Sue and I start our conversation. She starts hearing me, right? She starts thinking, oh my gosh, you're right. Maybe you have a point here, or what you're saying really makes sense to me, which is not something we anticipate because she's making cookies and eating bread or whatever. And the conversation throughout Christmas dinner or whatever continues. And the next thing you know, she's like, I am going to try that ketogenic lifestyle. Oh my gosh, you've convinced me. All right, I need to talk to you next week. So what day can I come by and we can talk? So you now have a free client. You are now locked into a pro bono situation, in my opinion, because you have engaged probably for more than 30 to 45 minutes in this conversation of giving information, talking about her problems. You've let her continue on and on and on. How are you then going to turn around and say, oh, by the way, I charge $275 a month for 1 hour call, and you got to fill out this intake form? And how are you going to turn that free conversation into something that's paid with a family member or even a friend? So I want you to really think about, where are your, and this is my new favorite word, those of you who are students and those of you who are members of my mastery group, you're going to hear this a lot more with me. Where are your boundaries when it comes to what you're willing to sacrifice for yourself for the good of someone else when they haven't even become a client? That is something to seriously think about before you open your mouth and get into a conversation with someone. All right, flip it around. That person sits next to you. They understand that you are a healthy person, you're a healthy eater, and you take really good care of yourself. And they start asking you questions that you didn't open that dialogue. They start asking you. This is what I would do. If I had known this so many years ago, this is what I would do. I would say, oh my gosh, there is so much. When it comes to our health, there are so many pieces. It is not just about exercise and what we put in our mouth. There are so many other pieces that play a part. And I don't even really like to get into too much of a conversation with anyone, friends or family or strangers, without knowing a complete history on them, like knowing, what they're eating now and how they're moving and stuff. There's just too much. And plus, it's really one of those things that I don't like to put my business at risk in and have those conversations because, I have to have insurance that covers me, and I want to make sure I'm following those guidelines. That's going to kind of put a stop to that conversation. It's either going to put a stop to it, or they're going to continue with absolutely, again, no boundaries on their side of things that respects what you do and who you are and what you have to offer. And that can be a tricky thing to get out of. So, it's all about what you're comfortable with saying. It's about what you're comfortable with shutting down, or what your boundaries are. So keeping boundaries in mind, and I've got some book recommendations on boundaries that can be really helpful for coaches. I'm going to talk about those towards the end here. Okay. So we've talked about where they find you, right? The dinner table, the grocery store, wherever you so-called live in your community, wherever you live online. Here's the other thing you can do. When someone personal messages you on Facebook, you get to ignore it. Isn't that I know that's groundbreaking. I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, I can ignore that? Well, yes, you can. And here's the reason why. It's something that I do sometimes and have done more and more in the last couple of years than I ever thought I would do, because I'm a person that feels like I have to answer everyone. When a newsfeed question comes through, a personal message, and someone's asking me an extensive question about, most of the time for me, they're asking me about thyroid because, I used to teach a lot of thyroid classes here locally. So when I see those questions, there's a couple of things I do when it's on like social media or when it's by email. So what I will do, I will either ignore the personal message. I never ignore email. If someone contacts me by email, I will ignore the personal message, or I will write back, whatever the question may be, I would write back something like, again, like what I said sitting at the table is, there are so many facets to, you know, repairing the body and being healthy and things like that, that I really like to have a complete intake form on someone before I even speak to what's going on with them. And then I send them a link to either my fees and services, or I give them a place that they can sign up to contact me and find me. And that's it. Now, when someone contacts me by email, it's either coming through my website or it's coming through a referral, or someone has sent them my way from somewhere in the community or something like that. And they'll say, like this one, this just came in 3 weeks ago. Lady wrote to me and said, my husband and I are interested in shifting our health since my husband was diagnosed. I think it was high cholesterol for him, and I think something for her was her thyroid or hormones or something like that. I don't remember. But I'm interested in knowing how you work with people and how I can learn more. So I wrote back, thank you so much for getting in touch. Here, a copy of my fees and services is attached, and you can also go out to my website and see more about me there. Thank you so much for your email. And that was it. And I did not hear back from that particular couple. I have raised my prices when it comes to doing the one-on-one clients and working with couples, because I'm trying to extend my reach when it comes to people I help, and doing one-on-ones doesn't make sense for where I am in my business. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. Now, I want to kind of back up a little bit, and I want to talk about, why do we as health coaches end up giving in to those people who are trying to get free information from us? What is it about us, and again, our boundaries, because that's truly what it's about, that keeps us feeling like we have to give to every single person that comes to us and requests our help? So here's where I want you to also interact on the page. I haven't been able to look at it because I've got my questions pulled up. And I want you to tell me in the chat or in the comments, are you a person that struggles to say no? Are you a person that struggles to do that 15 to 20 minute consultation that I train my coaches to do, because that's all you need to do? Are you a person that sits down across from someone for a free consult for an hour and then they don't sign up and you wonder what you did wrong? Are you a person who wonders why when you start talking to people, they start writing things down, but it's not your number to call you? Like, what are you doing in your business, do you think, that is keeping people coming to you for free help but not signing up with you as a client? So I want you to evaluate that. Talk about it in your comments. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why this might be happening to you, because, again, I've been through it and I've been there. So a couple of things that happened to me when I first started health coaching was, I was doing personal training, and so part of me felt like that was part of what I did, right? So being a personal trainer, I should talk to people about what they're eating. I should talk to them about how they're sleeping. Only the problem was with me is that I would start a class at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was a 45-minute class. I had 15 minutes in between to grab a snack, go to the bathroom, get something to drink, and my class started at 10. That one went to 10:45, 15-minute break. Another class started at 11, and then I got a break at 12, came back that night. What I was finding was happening is that people did not respect the fact that I had 15 minutes between my classes to take care of myself and get prepared, clean up, and do all of that for the next class to come in. And the reason why they didn't respect that was because I didn't teach them to, and I didn't make them feel like they had to. I stood there and continued to give out information until I was hungry, about peed my pants, sometimes started my classes late, which was not respectful of the other people's time when they came in. I'm not talking like 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes we'd run over 5 or 10, but that would literally be almost the only thing that could pull me away from giving information, because I felt like I was their trainer. I should be helping them with this. Okay, so that's one thing that may be one reason why you lean into that giving part of yourself, is because either maybe you're a massage therapist, maybe you're working in a chiropractor's office, maybe you are wearing another hat or something like that. Maybe you're a personal trainer. Maybe you are a representative of a food product. I don't know, whatever it is, maybe you think that those pieces just come with what you do for that one payment. Is that making sense to you guys? And I'm going to put this down here. Hold on just a second. Yeah, so now I can see what you guys are talking about. Okay, so that's one place that's one way that we find ourselves stuck. We get stuck in that conversation. And how many times I cannot tell you, like, I would get that anxious feeling, underlying feeling of like, God, I just want to get a drink of water and go to the bathroom. I just want to get out of this. And yet I stayed. All right. The other thing that we potentially might be kind of doing this for free for, and I call it a health coach hobbyist, because that's what you are. If you are not getting paid for the work that you're doing, you are a health coach hobbyist. So you can proudly stand up and say, hi, my name's Carmen. I'm a health coach hobbyist, which is what I would have said probably still 7.5 years ago. It took me a few months to get into the mindset that I deserve to be paid for what I was doing. So another reason why that happens is because we got into this business because we want people to feel better. We want them to be healthy. And I've got a hair tickle in my nose, y'all. Excuse me. I can't concentrate when that starts happening. And let me tell you, the static in this room is about to be enough for me. Anyway, so we got into this business because we want to help people. And so then there's that internal, I want to say internal conflict and dialogue, where part of you is saying, oh my gosh, I mean, I truly want to help people. I wish I could give it all away for free. Then either it's the internal voice going back and saying, but I've worked so hard. I've got my certification. I've spent so much money. Or it could even be your spouse or your partner saying, okay, great. You've got your certification. We've dropped $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on your education. And yet here you are spending an hour or 2 hours or whatever, giving it all away. What did you make on that person? Well, nothing because they this. Well, nothing because they that. You know, I don't know how many of you have been through that, but I went through that too. The other thing is this, is we feel sorry for people. And that's something that I am so bad about. I mean, I'm so bad about that is something that I've had to get work on. Like, how can I detach myself from being a boundary in that space of feeling badly for other people to the point that it caused problems for me with my finances, with my lifestyle, with what I wanted to do for myself. And one of the reasons I got into that situation, you know, some things from when I grew up caused some of those things, but I was a president of the Humane Society for several years and an animal advocate, you know, person for 17 years, where I was just sunk into rescue. And I had developed what people call compassion fatigue, where I felt so badly for anything that suffered, animals, insects, people, that when I was doing my health coaching, that would creep into my life to where I'd be like, oh gosh, well, oh my gosh, okay, so she's got this problem, and her husband's leaving her, and her daughter is in rehab. Okay, I'll help you. No, don't worry about it. You don't have to pay me, okay? I took responsibility for that person's issues. That's a boundary problem. I should probably just do a whole training on boundaries. But, and I probably will add that to the Institute, because that's what I do when something really speaks to me and makes sense. I add it as a lesson to the school. But anyway, that was me not being able to let people do what they needed to do for themselves, which was honor themselves enough to invest in themselves for their health, whether that was time, finances, physical changes. I was the person that was like, oh, you didn't take that out of your food? Okay, well, that's okay. You can do that next week, and we'll work on that next week. Oh, you want to change your appointment with me at the last minute with 15 minutes to spare when I've held this space for you for a month? That's okay. It's okay. Okay, I've changed all of that. My whole business is different now. And the brain pickers, they don't find me as easy as they used to. And one of the biggest things that I did was, you know, put those boundaries up around myself and really learned how to not give in to those people that were not willing to take care of themselves. So, all right, so let's talk about, we've talked about brain pickers, what they are, how they find you. They're everywhere. They're under rocks sometimes, I swear. Why we might be giving into this. And if you have a reason why you give into people and do it for free, please put it in the chat, in the comments. We are all the same here, you guys. We've all walked through these spaces of you know, making poor decisions for ourselves as coaches and entrepreneurs, okay? So no shame. And let's talk about how we can shut them down nicely. Now, I've talked about it kind of briefly a minute ago, about the things that you can say or the things you can write to shut people down when it comes to continuing to try and pick your brain to get as much as they can for free. So let's just recap real quick. When someone comes to me and either messages me or asks me in person, the person one's harder. So let's just save that. Let's save that for a minute. Let's talk about when they write to me. I've already told you what I would write back. It's very important that you guys have a fees and services page ready to go, ready to send, ready to attach to an email, ready to attach to a personal message. That shows people that you take your business seriously, that you are saying, thank you so much for getting in touch with me. Yes, I offer services on helping people through those types of problems. Attached to Find My Fees and Services, please let me know what would be a good time to set up a free 15-minute consultation, okay? Those written ones are a lot easier than the ones where you're face-to-face, or you know, you're at an event, or you're at the grocery store, or someone's crying to you, which happens. I don't know what it is about people crying to me in public, but it happens a lot. Even my husband's like, my gosh, It's like you might as well just carry a box of Kleenex in your hands. So when you're in face to face with someone, it's really hard to pull back on that. That person that is, wanting to give it all away and make this a hobby. And it's because you're sharing that energy and that space with that person. And you probably are, like me, you're probably very empathic, and you feel deeply compassionate for people. But you have to stop and remember this. This is always for me about honoring myself and the place that I have gone through to get where I am today. Even if that means, if that person's talking to you, even if that means saying something in your mind that says something like, not in a mean way, you guys, but I'm saying like, I deserve to be paid for what I know. Money is only an exchange of energy for goods and services. I have worked hard. Whatever that internal mantra needs to be for you to put yourself back into your entrepreneur shoes and out of your hobbyist shoes, pick something, find something that you can say to yourself until it becomes a reality for you. Because what you're doing when you are, and I've just recently learned this terminology, which I love, what you're doing when you are giving away your information for free and you are helping people and you're not honoring yourself and you're developing some bitterness because you're not being paid, is you are mowing someone else's yard, right? And that is, and I just think it's such a genius terminology. It means that, you are stepping into someone else's space and trying to take care of their business for them. And that, honestly, that is part of when you give so much away, you're not allowing that person to make good decisions for themselves, to invest in themselves, again, financially, physically, emotionally, whatever it may be, which is the first step to taking charge and being accountable for your own health and your own life. Does that make sense to you guys? So let me take a breath and go back. There's a lot of talking going on, and I definitely will revisit if there are questions. And definitely put your questions in here, you guys. But I want to know that what I just said makes sense. When we step into someone else's yard, again, when we step into someone else's yard of, and what I mean by that is into their space of stuff that needs to be fixed. Think of someone's yard full of weeds, that needs to be mowed, that needs to be sprayed with non-toxic, weed killer. We're walking into their emotions. We're walking into their health problems. We're standing amongst it all, and we're looking around and we're thinking, I have a great mower. And what I mean by that is I have a lot of knowledge in my mind. I could totally help this person. Let me grab my mower. And you go over and you take it all down to nothing. Well, that person's still standing there with the problems because they haven't had to figure out, how do I go about taking care of these weeds? How do I go about mowing my own yard? This person's just going to come over here and do it for me. When they have to pay you, that's the first step to investing in themselves. And it really gives them the energy and the power back of their own life. So if anything, just think of it this way. If you really want to help people, just know that you are taking away their power. You are taking control of their life for them by not making them take that accountability and that first step for themselves. Doesn't that feel good? Like, take the guilt off of yourself, because it's not your responsibility. What's going on with someone else when they're reaching out for information and questions, but they're not willing to pay for it and invest in it or be accountable to themselves, is basically you're taking away all of their power. So by asking for that investment, you are honoring yourself. You are honoring the fact that they need to be accountable and responsible for themselves. And the exchange of energy and money feels good to everyone. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. All right, so let's go over here and see what's happening with you guys in the questions. I'm not done yet either. I've got a little bit more to talk about, but let's scroll up here. Jill is saying, I give away too much. I don't mean to. I think I'm doing it to prove that I know what I'm doing. Awesome. That is a great point, Jill, because here's the other beautiful thing about it is that when we feel that way, like we have to prove something to the world about what we know, then we really need to dial back into our own yard and figure out, why do we feel like we have to prove something to anyone but ourselves? What's going on with you that makes you feel like you have to prove to someone that you know what you know? All right. So, and I'm not saying, I don't know Jill. I don't know what's going on in her life or her story, but I'm saying, like, if you're a person that feels the way that she feels, maybe you need to ask yourself, is there someone in my life that doesn't believe in me? Is it my spouse? Is it my mom? Is someone giving me a hard time and telling me that you can't make a living doing this? What's a health coach? I mean, that's stupid. Is there someone out there that's doing that to you that makes you feel like you got to prove to the world that you know all of this great information? Or is it you that feels like you're sabotaging yourself, right? These are real problems. These are true and real things that health coaches go through. I see this with the coaches I work with. I can tell you that you are not alone by feeling that way. So who are we trying to prove to someone that we know enough to help other people? I don't feel the need to prove to anybody anymore ever that I know enough about health because of the way that I practice my business and the way that I help people. I know that I can help people. I am 100% solid and firm, and I know that I have a system that works. I know that I know what I'm talking about. If they come to me and I don't know what's wrong with them, I will simply say to them, I really don't know what that is, but I love to learn, and I'm going to support you and help you along your way, so let's do this together. So that's the other problem, you guys, is that if we're giving too much away on the front end out of fear that someone might ask us something we don't know, or someone might actually, come to us with a serious problem and we don't feel like we'd be fearful that we can help them, you can help anyone. It's 100% possible. So I would like to remove those barriers that health coaches are feeling about fear of not knowing enough, fear of people not taking them seriously. That's another reason why health coaches give things away, is that, we don't think people take us seriously. And by giving it all away for free, they're not going to. You've got to show people that this is a business, that you are running a business, that health coaching is a profession. It is 100% a valid profession, as you guys are starting to see more and more. It's coming into the mainstream. But we've got to put that message out to others that is the truth. It starts truly with us. If we want people to believe in what we do, if we want them to take us serious, if they want to know that this is something that we are building a business around, then we're the first step to that. If we're giving that message out that we can give it all away for free, you can call me anytime, you're not telling people that you're running a business. You're telling people that this is a hobby for you. So I know that sounds kind of harsh. Did that sound harsh? I didn't mean for that to sound harsh, but it is true. And maybe that's a reality check for some of you, is that, maybe you need to turn around and look at yourself and say, what am I doing here? Yeah, I lost like 5 people when I said that. But it's true. It truly is true. The message of what you believe about your business starts with how you present yourself and you present what you're offering to the world. So the first thing, have a fees and services form done that you can send people. Have an about me page written up that you can send people, or a 1-page website done that you can send people to, so that they can see it is truly a valid business. All right, so let's scroll down. Michael says, I'm so guilty of running my business as a hobby. I know, I was too, truly. Andre says she's pushing herself now to keep moving forward, and you're doing a great job of it. I mean, look at you out there talking to people about Pampered Chef and all of that, Andre. You're doing it, just moving forward and not listening to those messages that pop up into our minds that tell us that we shouldn't be doing this, or that we're not good enough, or we don't know enough. All that self-doubt is giving the world the wrong message. We've got to believe in ourselves first, and then let the world know that, we have something to offer to them. So Beth said, just looking at taking Carmen's class, was thinking hobby, but still need another job. So I was already having this problem before I start. Well, I'm going to take it away from you. No need to have it. No need to have that problem before you even get started. I'm going to tell you right now that health coaching is a true profession. And Beth, I think I saw you chatting in the Institute page. I think we might have had a conversation. But just so you know, back in the day when I was building a business, we didn't have any of this. Like, none of this existed. It was all word of mouth. And I built a word of mouth business based on 100% referrals. And I'm not just saying that. It is honestly the truth. Because once I figured out I had something truly good to offer other people that could help them with their life, I put all of that belief behind what I did. And it was, it just blew my business up. And, when I stopped putting things out there for free all the time and started taking myself seriously, is when my business took off, truly. I had to change my money mindset a lot too. I did a lot of pricing changing. I probably changed my prices every week for several weeks because I couldn't make up my mind. I shifted between, that's too much, what if they can't afford it, into, wait a minute, I have been studying health and wellness for almost 20 years. I deserve to, do this or this. It's a lot of inner dialogue, and a lot of the conflict that we have starts within ourselves. So that's where we have to begin. Cassie said, this happens to me. Leah said, happens to me all the time. And Cassie said in person too, or they've been having a dispute over someone over the topic. I don't dispute with people over topics ever, really. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to pull those people that are disputing with you in your pages into kind of silence, actually. I'm going to teach you how to silence them in just a second. Solange says, I need to thank you, Carmen, regarding brain pickers. I used to do research in order to give answers to the ones approaching me regarding their health concerns. Me too. Since getting training from you and becoming better at not giving detailed answers and telling them that's what my health coaching training is about. Yes, to help people like them deal with the very issue they are telling me about. And as she's saying, it feels so good to be able to still help and promote my soon-to-come business at the same time. That's right. It's honoring yourself, Solange. Doesn't that just feel like, I don't know, there's just something freeing about it. I get chills when I read. I see the shift in what she's done here. I remember when you signed up, Solange, and I see the shift in you that's changing, and that's power. That's empowering, not just for you, but it's also inspiring for other coaches too. So I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. And being vulnerable with each other about the fact that we have, we have to be open with each other, you guys. And I am that person that will tell you straight up, I cannot stand all the fakery out there, all these people they've never built a business as a health coach, and yet they're telling you, you can do this if you sign up for my course that costs this, or my class for this, and you can make the kind of money I'm making. It's bullshit. It's not true. It's good copywriting. It's great sales pages. It's someone who might have a very wealthy spouse that is backing their business. You show me someone that's built a business from the ground up and has struggled with these types of topics we're talking about today, and we will do a conversation back and forth. I would love to have a conversation with someone that actually can be truthful in this business. We need to put the truth out there about how hard it is to move through these types of things so coaches don't feel so alone. And that's the other thing. I've seen a lot of coaches saying, I'm just done. I give up. I don't even want to try. It is too hard. No one takes me seriously. Well, the first step is taking yourself seriously and knowing that you can do this. Just know it. Know that you can do it. I'm telling you that you can. I can promise you, I'm good at kicking people in the pants when it comes to self-doubt. So you can ask any of my people in our mentorship group. We do like to kind of give ourselves a reality check sometimes, and that's what it's good for. So yeah. So Cassie said, I've always had a hard time saying no. So when we do that, why are we having a hard time saying no? Why are we devaluing what we've learned and how we've spent our time and our money and learning all of this stuff? First of all, why are you signing up for certifications that cost thousands of dollars? Because they all do, right? Most of them aren't even created by health coaches. They're created by someone who, probably just knew they could make some good money on marketing this. Why are you doing that and then getting done with it and doing nothing with it? Like, oh my gosh, I don't know that I could even stand to drop that kind of money and then not do something with it. So the first question is, when you believe in yourself enough to start a program, stay with that feeling. You signed up because you knew somewhere inside of you that you had something to offer. It's in there, and that's what's speaking, right? So why let the fear monster come out when you finish the certification or the class or whatever it is you've chosen to do and take control of you again, right? So ask that question to yourself. Why is it so hard for you to say no to others? Do you have your own boundaries that you seem to keep crossing for yourself? It's all about self-exploration, you guys, about why these things are happening to us. Yeah, so Cheryl's saying that's exactly what happens. I'm not sure what that's about, but I'm sure that everyone can relate. But Sarita, I hope I said that right. Sarita, yes, I have a hard time saying no and having people sign up after a consult. Okay, so let's touch on that real quick. First of all, 15, 20-minute consultations, all you got to do. Don't give away anything in your consultation before they become a client. Don't sit there and give answers and websites and information during that free consult. It would be like you going in to get your oil changed and them going in and putting the new filter on and then coming out to you and saying, oh, I just put your filter on, but so-and-so and so is this. I mean, like, that doesn't happen. So what we want to do is we want to say, tell me what's going on with your life. Tell me why you contacted me. We have about 15 minutes here to have a good organic conversation. I'm just going to listen and see where I can help you. And then you let them speak. I mean, that's what you have to do. And let me just preface that with this. Put the 15 to 20 minutes on the front end of your conversation, or you're going to be on the phone for an hour. And I do a free consultation from potential to pain. I've done the training on that probably 2 or 3 times. I've already done training on that. So I'm not going into all of that. I'm just reminding you that when you put the time out there ahead of time, before you start the process of letting them just speak, they've got it tucked in the back of their mind just a little bit that there's a limit here, and this is free, and I probably should keep in mind, right? And keep your eye on the time. Someone just doesn't stop talking and the time is running on. This is another thing I've seen health coaches do. I really had good intentions of doing 15 minutes. And the next thing I know, she's crying. I've got 45 minutes in. I had to text my husband to pick up my son. Been there, okay, did that, been there, done that, bad idea, anxiety, sweating, hating myself for not being able to shut her down, all of that. This is what you got to do, okay? You got to get comfortable with not cutting people off, but kind of like you got to get comfortable with this. Okay, so wow, there's a lot to talk about here, and you've given me so much great information about how we're going to be able to work together. So how we are going to be able to work together to help you reach your goals and make good decisions for yourself. So let's go ahead and wrap up, and let me get an email to you so we can get started on the next steps of this. Done. Super simple, finished. Or something simple like, oh my gosh, when someone's crying, like I always allow for a few extra minutes when someone's crying, because I mean, that's a tough position to be in, but you still got to be able to put that boundary up for yourself, for your business, and say, gosh, I'm so sorry. That sounds so hard. And I completely can understand, or whatever. You've got to use understanding terminology, but then say to them, listen, I am here to support you. So if we, or when we start working together, we're going to find a way to make this not so overwhelming for you. I promise you, you're not alone in this. People go through this all the time when they're making changes. So take a couple of deep breaths and just know that it's not hopeless, right? Stops that conversation. Person calms down. Stay within your 20 minutes or so. You're off the phone. You send the fees and services, and you're on your way to a client. The reason I am finding that most coaches are having a hard time signing an actual client up that does a free consultation is they're giving too much away in the very beginning. Why would you contact someone and sign up to be a client of theirs when you've got several websites to look at, lots of great information about a food plan that coach said worked for her to lose 35 pounds? Like, why would someone hire you when you're telling them all of the answers at the front end? Not only is that a bad idea, because you're not going to get a client when they get enough information to get started on their own, because Google, hello, that, and you're putting your business at risk too. So think about this. Someone asks you a question or says to you, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes last week, and my doctor said he's going to give me 1 month to turn it around through diet and exercise. What are you going to be able to do for me? I have 1 month. Okay, and they start the conversation that way. So what you would say is, you know what, I have a lot of great ideas about how we can help the body to retrain itself, and how I can guide you into making some better decisions for yourself. But we need to get some history on you and understand what's happening and how you feel about your life in general. And there's so much more that goes into type 2 diabetes besides just what you're putting in your mouth. In order to do that, I've got to have a full intake form. Okay? See how you're like, circle back around. Circle back around. Put it back in their court. Circle back around, reminding them it's a business. Okay? All right. So Cheryl says, you're speaking from my head and heart. It's because I've been there. And Sarita says, I've been there with the spouse. Yes, me too. I've been there too. And Cassie, again, my husband doesn't believe in this business to begin with. My husband was really skeptical about it too, because he's a person that, he's kind of one of those people at the time when I started the business that was, I can eat anything, nothing bothers me, I'm never sick, that kind of thing. And he ended up with diverticulitis, and ended up in the hospital for several days. And then it would kind of led away from that. You know how some people have to have a heart attack before they'll exercise, that kind of thing. He's one of those people. He's just one of the strongest, most strong-willed people I know. He has the drive of, I've never seen anybody with so much drive in my life. He's done Ironmans and CrossFit competitions, but being sick and taking that away from his life brought him into my space just a little bit more. Here's what I have to say about the spouses not believing in your business or other people not believing in your business is this. Who cares, right? Who cares if they believe in what you do? The only person that it matters if you believe in what you do is yourself. Hold on, you guys. Anyway, so you start there. Now, is it a financial thing and you're getting pressure from your spouse and they're saying, if you don't start making some money, you're going to have to do something different. Sit down and have a real conversation with them. Sit down and say, well, you know what? It is what I want to do with my business, and I know that I can make it happen. So let's look at our budget and see where we can work on our family, finances. Do Dave Ramsey's freedom thing for money. I don't care what you do. Make some different decisions as a family. Stand firm on your ground and say, this is what I want to do. I got certified to do this. I'm smart enough to do this. I want to help people, and I don't want restrictions of being a doctor or a nurse. I don't want to go back to school. I want to do this. And what are you going to do to support me and help me get there? I mean, that's kind of basically the conversation. You can be nicer about it. I mean, I'm only telling you guys this because, you know, it's us. If my husband were sitting across from me, I would have a more respectful conversation about it. Absolutely. But, you know, you've got to remember that if it's something you believe in and you're passionate about, you got to find a way to stand your ground, and you got to find a way to make it happen. No one's going to do this for you. Nobody. No one's going to hand you the magic done for you program that's going to make your business successful. No one is going to line up. Okay. Start honoring what you do. All right. Let me look again. Arati, you guys have the prettiest names, and I just suck at pronunciation. Is it Arati? Arati? I started to charge orientation sessions or fax sessions. If they sign up the next week, the payment goes as part of the coaching fee. But I still have problems saying no to friends and family, and they're the worst to work with. Oh, please. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I get it. They are. They're hard. So, you know, I guess the only thing that I can say about that is you can do what I did. When my family came to work with me, I gave them a discount. You know, I mean, my mom and dad, of course, I worked with them for free because they're my mom and dad. I would work with my sister for free, of course, and my nieces and nephews and that. But I'm talking about extended family, okay? Extended family is different, and they are and can be some of the worst. So what I would do is say, you know what, God, you know, I'd love to sit down and help you out. Let's, you know, let me come over and bring some healthy snacks over. Here's my fees and services. I give all friends and family 15% off of whatever they choose to do. Let me know what day works for you. And that's it. That's it. You got to find a way to shut it down. Solange says, the story of my life, giving and not getting paid and suffering financially. Yeah, this is my wife. This is my wife. She says it's her husband's here. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's not even our fault until it's brought to our attention. So we've got to be a little gentle on ourselves. And, you know, here's the thing, and my husband will say this, the thing that I love the most about you is the thing that drives me the craziest, is that I am a giver, and I am one of those people, like, I'm super passionate, I'm super driven, I can be super stubborn, but I get things done, I'm a go-getter, I'm this person, but it can work against, you know, a lot of things when it comes to relationships. You know, we've got to take into account, I'm not saying discount your spouses, I'm saying, you know what, my husband was depending on me to make this work. I told him I was gonna make it happen. So once you put that belief in yourself and you are firm and you know it's gonna happen, you just have to ask your spouse to trust that it's going to. And then you got to work your ass off to make it happen. That's all you can do to hold up your end of the deal, because they do have a valid concern when it comes to how are we going to make money? How are we going to do this? So you're the first step. You got to believe that you can do it. Lisa says, I think it comes down to a matter of money. They're happy to listen to for free, but won't spend the money to invest in their health or somehow offended. I expect to be paying. Paying. Huh? Okay, I'm gaining a new foothold with that with my local clients now, though. Yeah, so that's fine. They can listen for free, and they will as long as you let them. But when you stop talking for free, they're not going to be able to listen for free anymore. And those are the people that, if they don't want to invest in their health, you don't want to try to convince them anyway. Stop trying to convince people who don't want to invest in their health that they should invest in their health. That's probably something I should write down anyway, and put it on our student page and everything. Is you cannot convince someone that they need to make changes for their life. So why would you sit and put all that energy into trying to convince them to do it? That again is a boundary issue. You're stepping over into their lawn again. Stop stepping into other people's yards. Wait for them to come to you. Those are the people that are ready to do the work. Now, one of the questions that I've had asked many times is, but what if they don't sign up? Okay, then you wait for the one that does. Like, stop putting so much weight into all the things that are not happening for you and focus on the things that are. How about the people that are signed up for your group? How about the people that are in your group on Facebook that's free and they're asking questions and they're genuinely interested in the answers? Well, yes, they're picking your brain too, but here's how you can shut that down and redirect. You can say, so let me think of another topic. I always resort to the same topics all the time because I've worked with clients with all these problems, but let's say someone joins your group and they have been diagnosed with lupus. And they're like, I was just diagnosed with lupus. Someone mentioned the autoimmune paleo diet. I'm so confused. There's so much out there. Can you tell me how to get started? I love that one too. Like, what's the first thing you should do or tell me how I can get started real quick. Oh my Lord, there's no such thing as real quick or just for a second. None of that exists with health. And when you remember that and you answer accordingly, you're going to shut it down. So you would say to them, Yes, I have absolutely heard that the autoimmune paleo food plan or diet can be beneficial for people with lupus. You can share a link with them, autoimmune paleo mom or whatever. She's got that. Send it to them. But here's what's going to happen. She's going to get on that website, or he's going to get on that website, or those people that are asking for that help, they're going to look at that one link and they're going to be like, oh God, I don't even know what that word means. What's a nightshade? What is gluten anyway? How do I even go out to eat? I travel. I mean, like, they're going to have more questions. So sharing a URL, a link to a website, is not going to turn that person into a non-client. More than anything, they're probably going to look at it, get overwhelmed again, and reach back out to you and say, thank you so much for the resource. I can see you know what you're talking about. I still feel like I can't navigate this on my own. I don't know what to do. Let me email you a copy of my fees and services, or you can see more about how to work with me on my website. When it comes to individual care and support and things like that, you might want to consider a 3-month contract, or we can start with a 1 month, whatever it is. But you're supporting them, you're providing value because they're in a group and you want to provide value in your groups, just like I'm doing right now, right? And you can do lives, you can do things like that, but redirect them to where they can sign up with you one-on-one, because you cannot give someone that's diagnosed with an autoimmune problem or a problem, period, advice over a group, a Facebook group. You just can't. You shouldn't. I mean, you can if you want, but it's not a good idea, you guys. You can share resources. You can tell them, that this is something I've heard might work, but your best bet is direct them to signing up with you so that you have a client agreement and you are legally protected, signing up a client commitment agreement, having a disclaimer in place. So, and then having that, what to expect from working with me, which I did a training on a couple of weeks ago, months ago, I don't know. But that way they know, what am I going to get when I work with Carmen? How much does she charge? What does she offer in case I'm nervous about jumping into a full thing, right? Having those things ready, sending them to them, help them make a decision. They're probably going to turn into a client at some point. Maybe not right away. Certainly don't expect you to chase them down and make them a client, but they're going to come back to you. They're going to circle around to you. Okay, so Arati says, also help me to have my business card on hand and give it to the people who are asking too many questions. Yes, we're going to talk about that in just a second. Easier to me that way than just using words. It's a tool to end the conversation. Totally. And another thing I like to recommend too is having, I'm a big postcard girl or a flyer, brochure. Business cards are great for a quick handoff or something you can give away quickly. But if you really want to lock someone into learning about your business, and I hate that I've used all my postcards up here and they're down in my other office, but have a postcard made by Vistaprint that tells what you do. And then on the back of it, offer a discount for their first consultation, right? So having a list of things. I work with people who blah, 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 or I work with people who are interested in moving away from a standard American diet into a whole food plan, or whatever it is. Give them a good tagline so they understand what you do. Have a discount offered down there, have your website, your phone number, your email. However, have some pretty graphics on there that speaks to what you do. For me, it was like eggs and vegetables, these really pretty pictures on a black background, and my business name. So business cards for me, I remember when I was in marketing, not marketing, but advertising, and it was like, I don't know, I almost felt like every time I went home with a handful of business cards, I always just wanted to throw them away. I don't like clutter. But anytime I had something that had some really valuable information on it, it ended up sitting on my desk where I could actually access it, and then I would go back to it. So just an idea. Yeah, as long as just people cry to me too, I know, and my heart just melts. Ugh. Michael says, I feel the need to give away free information to establish credibility, but at the same time trying to establish a working relationship. Okay, totally understand that. So the credibility comes with a free consultation. The credibility comes when they go out to your website and see what you do. The credibility comes when they're in your free group where you give live support, where you show up, where you provide value, where you do free trainings that lead into those paid sessions. So establishing the credibility just means showing up for people and providing value. You don't have to tell them and give away a bunch of information to be seen as that expert or that person. And Michael, I know that you know what you're doing. Like, I know that you know what you're doing. And so I have never even been a client of yours. I've never even attended anything, but I know just from even reading posts or the way that you talk, I know that you know health. And we had our one face-to-face that one time. And, I just have to say that, you know, the confidence that you should feel in yourself, I mean, you should feel confident is all I'm saying to you. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. You have the credibility just because of the way you present yourself. So I just wanted to say that. Okay. Good. Everybody's saying it makes sense. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good deal. Okay. Yeah, it is truly, I mean, it's all about making sure that your client knows it's all about what they need. You know, you're letting them be accountable and responsible for themselves. But when you give things away for free, you're not even doing that for yourself. Be responsible for your income. Be responsible for the things you put out to the world, right? And do that in a way that makes sense. And that would be by setting up a business that people know what you do. They know it's a business and you take yourself seriously. All right. Sarita says there's more pressure to make my business work quickly or else I won't be taken seriously by my family. Again, who cares if they take you seriously? I don't care. Honest to goodness, I could care less if anyone in my family takes me seriously. It does not change anything about the way I do my business. Good. If they do, awesome. And my family does, by the way. You know, it was a trickle in with some things with my spouse, but you know, my mom and dad firmly believe in what I do. They use me as their health coach. I get requests from aunts and uncles still, people from other states. But I just don't really care. It's not, I value myself and what I do more than I value what other people think of me or think of what I'm doing with my business. You got to find a way to get there. Find a way to get there. Don't let people pressure you to work quickly because working quickly isn't working smartly, right? All right, Leah says, I have a hard time with my family. Soft boundaries with them before. Need to reestablish firmer boundaries. Working with my dad was a wake-up call after consulting. He paid me. He paid what my services were worth. And I thought, why aren't I doing this with everyone? I know, right? And we love when we have parents that pay us for our help, for what we do for them. It's nice, but you know, we need to do it with everyone. We need to be paid by everyone. So, okay, yeah. All right, just scrolling down, you guys, making sure. Gave it. Lori says I gave it away until I became the sole financial provider. Gave me a new perspective of value and the value of my money. Yep, absolutely. And everything that happens to our lives and our business, you guys, is a lesson. Even the bad stuff that happens to us, I truly feel that way, and I see that that has been the way my life has rolled around. Anything terrible that has happened or anything that I have been through, I have tried to see that. What is happening right now that, you know, what does that mean for my life, for my business, for my family, for myself? What is happening right now, and should I shift my thinking or whatever? So whatever you're thinking about your business right now, whatever you're thinking about yourself that is a negative or holding you back, where is it coming from? Find the cause of that thought process that you're stuck in about not being worth being paid or whatever. All right, I'm gonna go back to my form in a second, but Peggy says, does it make sense during that free consult to ask, why are you ready now? Well, I don't know, because what if they're not ready now? You know, I mean, I think you're saying, like, if you're on a conversation with someone and they're reaching out for you to come back and say, so what makes you ready to start now? It seems a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not accusatory, but kind of putting them in a corner, sort of. So that's why I kind of like the gentle lead in by saying, you know, along the lines of, when we're done here in a minute or two, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you an email. Let me make sure I have your email correct. If you will do me the courtesy of letting me know that you received the intake form and the fees and services form, then that would be fabulous. And I'll just wait to get that form filled out back from you and we'll get started. So I probably wouldn't ask someone, why are you ready now? I feel like that's, you know, that's in the intake form, Peggy, that we have in the Institute and the Mentorship and Mastery group. In that intake form, I think it does have that question in so many words. It says, why did you decide to seek health coaching? I don't know what number question that is because it's got like 25 pages now. I don't remember. But anyway, I think that we save that for when we are kind of in that relationship. It's a little bit gentler place to ask when they're already, you know, in that relationship with you. Yeah, Sandy said it's difficult to shut down people down that are close family friends. You know, I give a friend discount, and my friends that know what I do with that I do this for a living, they respect me, and you know, they might give me a gift card, or you know, they might give me money when they can if they have a, you know, whatever, or they may give me oils if they work in oil or whatever, you know, just something like that. But it's all about what you're comfortable with. So Dassy says, how does not giving information away for free in this manner different from where we are supposed to give away free information in our free Facebook group? So I just touched on that a minute ago, where I was talking about when they ask you for help, you provide them with a resource, you tell them that you have some experience with it. You then, you know, if they come back and ask for more, you then redirect them to what you do. You then redirect them to your contact me, your email, a sale you've got going on, a group that you're running that's paid, whatever it may be. So what that looks like, Dassy, is if someone says to you, I'm interested in leaning into paleo eating, but I don't know where to get started. What do you recommend? You can either say, I'm actually starting a group on how to move from standard American diet to whole food eating in 2 weeks. Here's the link to sign up, and it's a paid group. You don't have to tell them that, but you can say, here's the link to sign up. I'm going to be teaching you all about how to do that. Or you can say, here's a link that talks more about what the paleo diet is all about, and I'm starting a group in 2 weeks. We are running a group where other people just like you are going through the same thing and want to learn more. But, you know, you're providing the value. You can say, the paleo diet, there's a myth around, whatever you want to do. The paleo diet, there's a myth around it. People think it's all about meat, but it's not. Add your value in there by explaining what your beliefs are and what you know about it, so you show them that that you have knowledge. So a paleo diet is a majority of vegetables, you know, moderate amount of protein, a moderate amount of fat, nuts and seeds, right? People have good luck with blah, 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 blah. Here's a link, right? So you're giving value. They know you know what you're talking about, but it leads out some way to work with you personally. You've always got to lead out to a place that they can sign up with you. Okay, let's see here. Natalie said, I struggle with the situation after I meet someone who says she knows someone that could use my help, and when I follow up with an email, I do not hear anything. Okay, so, all right, so I'm going to stop you from doing that right here. If someone wants to get in touch with you to do a free consultation, you either send them your Calendly, Acuity, whatever your scheduling link would be if you use that, or you give them your email and say, or phone number, whatever, however you want to get in touch. Okay, you guys, there's no hard, fast rule on this. It's what's comfortable for you. And you say to them, when you're ready to do the 15, 20-minute consultation, reach out to me and we'll get we'll find a time for you. Do not chase people with an email. Do not follow up to them. They need to come to you. That, again, it's a first step. First step for you as an entrepreneur is telling them how to find you. First step for the client, potential client, is signing up to get to know you or learn more about how to work with you. No more emailing people, asking them if they're ready, checking in, wanting to make sure you got the information. No. The only time we want to we follow up like that is to say, if someone says to me, you know what, I'm ready to sign up with you. Send me the fees and services. Send me the intake form that you told me about, and I'm ready to go. All right. And you're like, absolutely great. Let me email that out to you today, and I'll follow up to make sure you've received it. That's a follow-up. You don't follow up with someone who has not expressed an interest to work with you or hasn't signed up to do an appointment with you. There's no more of that. I mean, you can if you want, but I wouldn't do it. So, okay. Jennifer says, you're speaking some powerful truths. I know, because I've been through it. All right. Bye, Cassie. I'll see you on the other boards. I know you had to jump off and return to work. Serena says, thank you, Carmen. Definitely need a wake-up call today. I helped my own cousin lose 100 pounds. Have to figure out why I stopped believing in myself. Oh, my gosh. Okay, you helped someone lose 100 pounds? That's impressive. So I'm hoping, Sarita, that you are building a business around what you did to help that person. And I hope that you have asked your cousin to do a video testimonial for you, talking about the results that she got and the support she got from you. And I hope that you take that video testimonial, plug it into an email for your list, put it out on a website for your list, share it with your groups, wherever. Let those people speak for you. That's what testimonials are about. I mean, I'm happy to brag when people help me or I believe in something. I want to tell the world about it. I truly, honestly do. I want people to benefit from my experience of working with them or using them or whatever. I'm the referral queen. I mean, I truly love to do that. And people that believe in you or you've helped, they want to do that too, or they should want to do that. So reach back out to that cousin. Ask her her to do a video testimonial. If they're not comfortable with that, that's okay. Do a written testimonial instead. Those are valuable too. You can put those anywhere. And find a way that you can tap back into that person that was confident enough to help that cousin and find her again, because she's still in there. And, you know, find out why you did stop believing in yourself. Did something happen around that? Did someone say something to you that made you feel that you were less than? Whatever it is. Do some self-discovery on that particular thing and definitely get past it and go back to what, I mean, that's amazing. 100 pounds. I don't think I could do that. Super. That's amazing. All right. So let's wrap up. All right. So we've already talked about what a brain picker is. The act of obtaining information by questioning another person, which we've talked about, there's nothing wrong with that if this is a hobby for you. There's a lot wrong with this if it is not a hobby for you. And let me insert this here too. If you want to do free work, by all means do it. I do it all the time. I still do offer free pro bono work. I do scholarships. I do discounts. I help some friends for free when I feel like it. When you make a decision to help someone for free, make that decision based on what your heart tells you to do. Like if your heart is saying to you, oh my gosh, I so want to help that mother with that sick child. I know that that's going to benefit me. Here's what's going to happen. That's going to come back to you in spades, right? That's not something that feels bad. What feels bad when you're giving away free stuff is when you don't really want to do it. So listen to your heart. Give, absolutely do pro bono work. Give to the world, give back. That's one of the reasons I believe that I became so successful, is because I felt I would always tap in and see, where can I continue to give as I start to get successful and busy with paying clients? How can I continue to keep that coming my way by honoring, the way the universe works, and give back to people. So give back when it feels right and it feels good, and you know that you're going to feel good about it when it's done. Otherwise, you're not being true to yourself, okay? How do they find you? We've already talked about that. They're everywhere. Why do we get into this? We've talked about self-value, digging into why we're doing this. Where do they show up in our messages? And they're everywhere. Again, it's, how do they find you? Where are they? It's kind of the same thing, but how do you shut them down? We've talked about that you're increasing the risk of your business if you continue to give free information. You're also not honoring yourself as a business person, and you're teaching them how to treat you and treat your business. And we also talked about always circling back and driving people to find you through those resources where they have to pay you. So whether it's your website, it's your contact information, it's a fees and services page with an email on it, whatever it is, always circle back around and drive them into that place where they can find you and pay you for what you do. There is a super fine line between giving it all away, you guys, and offering to help people for money. And it's so fine, you can barely see it. But when you know that you're worth being paid, and when you know that you have something to give and offer to the world, and you find those people that are ready to invest in themselves physically, emotionally, financially, it's a beautiful partnership, and that's what it is. So stop trying to convince people to work with you. Stop thinking that just because someone did not get in touch with you that it's your fault. It's not, ever, okay? It is never your fault if someone doesn't sign up with you. That is completely on them. And you've got to let it go, because that's, again, a boundary issue. You're taking responsibility for why they didn't sign up for you. No, let them go. Go with God. Go wherever you're going to go. Keep eating your burgers, whatever it is. Work with the people. Open your doors. Open your mind. Open your heart. Open your life and your business to the people that are ready to do the work. Because trust me when I tell you, you don't want the ones who aren't, because I've had those too, and that's misery. That is misery. I'm not going to convince anybody that they need to get better. People need to convince themselves, and they need to do the work and be accountable and responsible, so that we can work with the ones that are ready to do it, right? All right. I think that's it. I think that's all. For those of you not on my list, we got a lot of crap going on right now with specials and offers and discounts for the Institute, discounts for the mentorship and mastery group. We're doing $200 off the annual enrollment to the mastery group, where I do trainings like this, where we support each other all the time. So, what I can do, I'll plug in some stuff for you guys into the comments for you. I'm also offering $500 off the Institute for those of you who are still interested. I've got a lot of messages asking me, when are you going to run a special? Well, we're running one right now. $500 off the Institute enrollment, and you also are going to, hold on a second, it's paid in full, but you're going to get a link here so you can look at it all. So I'm just going to plug it in. We have been on for an hour. That's insane. I sure can talk, can't I? I'm going to have to find the right links. But anyway, I want you guys to take a look at it and see if anything we do fits in for you. If you have not looked at our safety in the health coaching profession, I urge you not to wait till something happens to get skilled at practicing safely. Do not think this is not important, because the people who think that being safe in this business is not important are the ones that need to be worried. It is absolutely, beyond having your fees and services ready, the first thing you need to do is know that you are practicing in a safe way, you guys, because otherwise everything you're setting up and doing could be for naught. It just takes one person that's disgruntled, right? So I'll share some links in the comments for you guys. You can check out everything we're doing. If you want to be added to our list, put in the comments, please add, that you want to be added to our email list. You can get all these updates and all this good stuff. And we do reminders like this. So we send out reminders when we're going live so you can be sure not to miss anything we're talking about. And one more thing, if you have a topic that you want a health coach, me, to talk about, tell me, put it in the comments. What are you struggling with? And I will structure some live trainings around what you guys need. I want you to be learning from someone who's done this, that's been through the hard parts and understands what you're going through. And I urge you to stop listening to people who haven't built this business because they really don't know the pains of it and how hard it can be. And that also includes, you guys, the mindsets that we're putting on ourselves and all the pressure we put on ourselves too. So let's stop doing that. Let's start making big changes and start making big differences in people's lives by being gentler on ourselves and allowing ourselves to have successful businesses that help people. Okay? All right. Have a fantastic day. I hope you guys found some good value in this. Share the Clarity group, you guys. Share what we're doing over here. Tell people to join us. The more the merrier. And the more honesty we get out there in the health coaching business, the better off we're going to be. See you later.